How's it going, YouTube? I know it's been a really long time since my last video. I really apologize. I've been doing an awful lot of work as far as, just like my regular job. So, I haven't had a lot of time to work on things. Actually, I have been having to work on things, but, to stop what I'm doing, grab a video camera and record and then turn around and upload, and I have to stage things. So it is what it is. So I apologize. I got a small project. This is kind of a quickie, and I don't know if I'm in the frame or not. So I've got this old oscillating fan here in Minnesota. Things have been getting pretty warm. I do have an air conditioner in my bedroom. I had this old fan sitting in my closet. And it's not complete, but because I want to show you some things. So this looks pretty nice. Now this fan, 30 years ago, you could probably have bought this at Walmart for $15. I found it in a dumpster. Somebody had cut the cord off of it, which is why it has a black cord. And I basically put the cord on there, tried it out. It worked. Everything worked about this fan. There was nothing wrong with it. I have no idea other than it was kind of ugly. Somebody would throw it away. So when they threw it away, I don't know if you can see in there, there was a crack right in here, that dark line. So what I did was, you can buy a kit either on Amazon or eBay, whatever, and you can melt staples into plastic and reinforce. Now you can't really see that because I've got it all assembled, but you can kind of see where some of this plastic has been melted. So what I did, I don't have that kit. I don't have the money to buy one right now because I'm catching up with bills, but I used a hot air gun on my soldering station and just some paper clips that I bent up with needle nose pliers, and holding it against the plastic and heating it up from the inside. You can't really see it from out here. It stitched this thing back together, and then I used a plastic welding tool to finish up. This kind of looked nasty. It looked worse than it does. So, I had a seed or something in my mouth. This is bothering me. So I was able to fix that. And, this where it's kind of looks melted right there. You'll never see that. The cage will go on. Now, this is another story. So what prompted me to do this, first of all, was, it was hot. I wanted a fan. I plugged it in. It was throwing all this dirt around. This thing was all dusty and everything. It's throwing dirt all over my clean bedroom. And I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I cleaned up the room the next day and brought this out and started to disassemble it to clean it up. And I thought, well, why don't I just fix it? Because it didn't oscillate anymore. It sat there and it would go pop, 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 pop. And there's a clutch inside there. I thought maybe it was stripping one of the gears. Is what it sounded really bad. And it wasn't. There's a clutch. There's a little gearbox in the back of this thing right here, inside. And actually, you know what? Well, no, I can't because I already snapped this thing back up in there. This knob is a pain in the butt to get out of there. You have to pull this off And this has been repainted. This and the base, the front plate, I repainted with this really nice beige Rust-Oleum. And this yellow part right here and that wing nut, and also the nut that's going to hold the blades on, have been painted with this Krylon, basically kind of a school bus yellow. I got it because I got a model of a bulldozer. I'm going to paint that color. This is as close to cat yellow as I can get without buying the really expensive cat yellow. Anyway, to give you a kind of an idea of what this did look like before I started, here's the blades. And those used to be white. So you can tell they're kind of grease stained. This has been my fan in my shop for years. And it worked fine. Until it didn't. It would still turn on, but it wouldn't oscillate anymore. And then here's the front cage. Now, there was a plastic button that screwed on here. I took that off and I painted it already. But you can see right here, this is dented. This is dented. And let's see, I thought, there went some paint flying. I thought there was, oh yeah, right there. So that's dented in right there where they threw it in the dumpster. Now, all this rust and stuff actually started happening a few years ago. So I decided if I want to do this, I want to do it right. So this is kind of the last piece that I have to work on. Now, I just took some steel wool, some really coarse stuff, and I will quickly show you the back of the cage. It's painted, drying, ready to go. Makes a big difference. This was damaged just about as bad as the front was. And it's been sitting here for about an hour and a half. It's still tacky. If you're painting anything with Rust-Oleum, you should know a couple things. Number one, if you have high humidity, and it rained earlier this morning, so it's going to take this a lot longer to dry. And number two, and a lot of people don't read the instructions, they just go to town with the paint. You need to recoat. You know how they say do light coats and then go back and recoat. You need to recoat within 1 hour. So time yourself. Spray it. And when you start spraying, wear a watch or something, or look at the clock and make note of the time. And just make sure that when you start, you do the second coat half an hour later or 45 minutes. But you can see how wonderful this looks now. There's still a couple of wires. If you look really closely, you can see a little bit of a wave right there, but you're not going to notice it when this thing is operating. And who really pays that close of attention to a fan? One reason why I went ahead and did this is, number one, to keep it out of the landfill. And who needs to go buy anything? Oh, and that dent, that's supposed to be there. That's where part of the motor kind of hangs down. This is the bottom. You can see the handle at the top there. So, see, this side's identical. So yeah, I did this to keep it out of the landfill. Number one. And number two, I don't really need to buy another fan. This one worked. It was just kind of ugly. This plastic right here was stained really, really bad. It's kind of a rubberized plastic. It's really flexible. As a matter of fact, you can kind of see some of the staining right here on the buttons. I decided to leave that natural. Maybe I'll see if I can take a magic eraser or something and clean that up later. It's not hurting me. This whole fan used to be white, including this label. I'm not going to try to retro-brite it. It's not worth sinking a whole lot of time in. I've just been, kind of piddling on this thing a little bit. Where I got an extra, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. So, I was kind of hoping that the school bus yellow, like on the wing nut, this nut, which you might not see, and then the nut that holds the blades on, as well as the centerpiece of that cage, maybe it'll make it look a little bit like a daisy, but also it will kind of just blend in with this right here. And actually this part right here looks really, really clean. The whole thing looks really nice now. The only thing that I couldn't do was, well, it's not really worth it to do this little thing right here and this right here. I was able to pull this screw out and take this off of here, tape everything up and kind of let it dangle, and then I literally held this upside down, painted the underside of this. You can see there's overspray, but who cares about that? So it's going to look nice. It's going to give this a second life. It's going to stay out of a landfill. It actually has a pretty sturdy motor in there. These fans now, they make them so cheap. Let me grab my super bright flashlight. Well, there it is. So, okay, maybe if I hold it like that. Yeah, now you can see the metal and the windings and everything in there. It's a really good sized motor for just a, what they call a 16-inch fan. So this fan right here, which is working, the motor is housed in this square box. There's two of them. This actually works pretty decent for keeping the house cool. So let's see if you can see. It just has kind of a coil right there, if you can see through the blades. Yeah, not really well. That fan right there, that's only about I think I got it about 10 years ago. And it's actually screwed together, so I can take this apart, clean it, which, yeah, it's getting pretty dirty down there. It's pulling air right from the outside. Now this one here I got at Walmart. This is about 20 years old. Now here you can kind of see a little bit better. No, this one's really dirty. So this one completely snaps together. I took it apart one time to clean it, and it didn't really go back together very well. There's kind of like a little extension that comes out of the bottom here. So you can stick it in a window and it completely closes off the window. That doesn't work so good anymore. Oh, what I wanted to say about this. So I took the gearbox apart. Very simple. We're talking about maybe 6 or 7 screws to completely disassemble the gearbox. Once you get that cover, this screw off of here. And the reason why I don't want to take this off is because, like I said, this button right here, there's actually a couple of clips that you have to spread apart with screwdrivers to pull this off of the shaft that it's on. And you have to have this off to do it. This case right here. So, I'm in portrait mode. I just figured that out. It's fine. Anyway, what happened is the grease just got old and hard. And the part that actually, there's a cam. Well, you can't really see it. But you see right here, there's a screw that mounts this metal. This is like a little metal arm, and this is the frame of the base. So this arm is mounted up inside of here to a cam that turns around, and that's what oscillates this thing. It's very simple. And the cam itself was stuck in the housing of the gearbox. So when I was disassembling this, I just kind of, took it apart and cleaned it up. And then to get that cam loose, I just squirted a little carburetor cleaner on it. And it freed up pretty quick. So if you want to see it work real quick, I can show you this. This actually, I'll just put it in the kitchen here. You shouldn't run a fan for very long. I'm going to turn this one off, it's noisy. You shouldn't run a fan very long with no blades on there. Number one, you need to have a little bit of a load on the motor. But there's nothing to cool that motor. But, just for demonstrating for a minute. So that's fast. And that's actually pretty quiet. And if you want to see it oscillate, just mash that down. There she goes. So, for a fan that I found in a dumpster 25 years ago, used as a shop fan, clean it up, repaint it, fix all the dents, and re-lube the gearbox. I used some low temp grease and just pull that up. There's a little clutch in there that has two balls that a spring holds them apart, and then it goes into little grooves in there, and that's what either turns the oscillation on or off. It's all very simple. Anybody could take this apart and do it. But what a nice quiet running motor, and it's going to look brand new when I get done with it. I'll say maybe I put I'm going to say I put about 2 hours of time into it. It'll be kind of custom painted, a really nice beige color with a white cage. I'm a little worried about these blades. Whoops. I don't know if you can make this out. Let's see. I thought there was what looked kind of like cracks in the material. See this? Sorry, looking at my feet there, but holding the phone and let's see. There, you can see how flexible this material is. This is kind of the whole any plastic piece on here is kind of made out of this material. That's this flexible stuff. And I guess that's for safety reasons, in case somebody takes the cage off. It won't slice your arm off. If they were made out of metal, it wouldn't slice your arm off unless you made them razor sharp. But anyway, when I get done, that'll all be straightened out right there. Repainted, everything reassembled. I can do a quickie once I got everything done. I don't really have anything on the other two projects that I've done. That first table, project number 1, project number 2, that miniature CRT TV, that's still in pieces. I haven't had time to work on those kind of things. I've been working on a lot of other stuff. I had a heater. I had to go through the heater quickly. It had an impeller that was imbalanced, and it would vibrate and make a lot of noise. That took a couple hours to clean that out. I will never get another ceramic heater made with those impellers. I'll do blades from now on. So anyway, that's it, YouTube. I appreciate you watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any advice, I know I'm not doing the best camera etiquette here. It's kind of hot and sticky around here anyway. But yeah, I'm open to advice. And tell your friends, please subscribe. And, kind of tell me what you like, what you don't like. And thanks for watching.